Thank you, Speaker. It's a pleasure to stand in the House on an occasion like this when Dennis O'Rourke, our colleague across the chamber, has been speaking, and to find myself in a situation where the House, and particularly New Zealand First, is supportive of this legislation. And they should be supportive of the legislation, sir, because the Act that we're changing has been in place since 1908, and yes, it's even older than Chris Auchenville, at least 100 years. And Dennis O'Rourke made the comment that the bill was a long time coming to the House, but that was because it was put on hold from the 2010 to enable a review following the Pike River and the Canterbury Earthquake Royal Commissions. And that review has now been completed and an SOP developed to incorporate lessons learned from these inquiries. Speaker, this is a very good bill. The supplementary order paper has been developed prior to the whey protein concentrate contamination incident and makes a number of sensible changes which will lead to clearer and more workable legislation. Speaker, the bill as originally drafted will require a notice to be sent to every person the inquiry made an adverse finding against, and it would need to give each person reasonable time to respond. In the case of the two recent Royal Commissions, this would have imposed a huge burden on the Commissions to contact hundreds of people. Most of these people had already been made aware of the findings and had an opportunity to respond, but the bill would have required formal notice anyway. So the changes make this process a bit less prescriptive, and I think that's very sensible. I think it's also, as I conclude my comments, sir, it's also important just to reflect on why inquiries are important. They're important to investigate mistakes or accidents and to ensure that they don't happen again. They're needed to bring accountability and transparency to government, and they're there to better inform ministers and the public on important issues. The Inquiries Bill is important to the proposed inquiry into the whey protein contamination, which was announced in fact yesterday, I think. And the government inquiry is about strengthening an already strong system to ensure that New Zealand food products retain their status as amongst the world's safest and most desired. The details of this ministerial inquiry are including the appointment processes are in principle because it's proposed that the inquiry will be carried out using powers in the Inquiries Bill. As such, the Food Safety Minister has written to the Chair of the Primary Production Select Committee to ask that consideration of the Food Bill be put on hold pending this part of the inquiry into regulatory and best practice requirements. Sir, this is a very good bill and I support it in its present form. Thank you.
The Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Labour Party